Alright everyone, now it's time for the second quick alt tech update. There will of course be a link in the description of my Bitchute channel. I'll pin the comment as well with that. It's time to talk about Bitchute because yesterday they posted an exciting announcement, which is for the first time they hit 2.6 million unique users in a single day. I get to see some of the analytics stuff that they've got as well, because I talk to their CEO sometimes, and I'm excited by what I see. It makes me even more confident over time that the site will probably continue growing. I realize that there are still two major overarching flaws on the site. The first is the lack of a sophisticated app, because more and more people use smartphones on the go as opposed to watching especially that kind of videos at home like I do on a laptop or a desktop. I like the sit down and work at my table experience because I like to stay to home, as my grandpa would say. Most people don't, though. Most people, their primary entertainment happens when they're, walking to work or to school or something like that. It's actually weird because, when I'm walking down the street, I want to be self-aware and aware of my surroundings. I don't want to get run over by a car because I was getting a Facebook message or something or making a tweet. And it's like, a lot of people that get hit by the car, the first thing they would do is tweet, oh, got hit by a car, LOL, YOLO, and I'm not really into that. But Bitchute, I think of all of the potential video alternatives, Bitchute has, I think, come the farthest, and that's why I put more effort into it, although I will be branching out more. I intend to make library exclusives. I'm going to begin putting my uploads on Brighteon. I already do on Dailymotion, of course. That being said, on Bitchute, I'm approaching 81,000 subscribers. The viewing total is over 10 million. It's definitely viable. The idea that the site, once it reaches that sort of mass, is not viable, that sort of goes out the window. And we can remember, as little as a year ago, you had so many hit pieces on alt tech especially, and Gab took a lot of flack. Bitchute, Minds, all of these platforms, they're filled with Nazis and stuff. Again, reminding the legacy media, the biggest uploader on the site, which is me, is a libertarian, not alt-right or anything like that, not a communist. See, that's what pisses them off, because the biggest uploader is not a liberal or something. They get pissed off at PewDiePie all the time. Oh my god, he said a thing once. He's an extremist. Very, very funny times. Now they're trying their best to ignore alt-tech. Because they realized that attacking directly was a bad idea because they were just promoting it more. Because when you mention something that most people don't know exists, it can't help but help them. It's very funny. I'm happy to be along for the ride on a site like Bitchute, where there's communication. It's getting more and more functional. And keep in mind also, when you look at the search feature or the lack of an app, which again, those are the two biggest weaknesses of the site. Keep in mind that Bitchute is still very, very new, and YouTube at the same comparable time in its development, while it had grown larger in a vacuum because there's no real competitor at the time, Google Videos I think was a thing though by that point, MetaCafe or something. While it grew faster, in the first half decade YouTube existed, it was glitch city. Glitches, massive buffering times, extreme limits on upload length, which Bitchute doesn't even have, and a million other problems. Bitchute is already more functional than YouTube was at the same stage in its development. That goes without saying. I remember very early wave YouTube. We're talking when I was in high school watching YouTube videos. It was bad. Bitchute is superior to the same point in development, and of course has experimental peer-to-peer sort of serving going on. There are plans to branch out to streaming and all of these other things, and I'm glad to be the biggest on the site as far as the subscriber base goes. I think it's a huge advantage, and I pity people who haven't already branched out into at least one alt-tech platform. In all honesty, they're going to get left behind. And then that's easy to do. There are people who on the early wave internet were very, very well known who basically nobody knows anything about now. Sites and services that nobody even knows about because, again, they failed to promote themselves as the social media revolution took hold. Now you have the alt-tech revolution going on. You've got crypto and blockchain, P2P, and all these things floating around, all of these new ideas that can't help but, at least in part, be promoted and grow. You've got all this growth going on, and you have a whole class of people that are very, very talented who aren't getting in on the gravy train. If you're a content creator, your only goal should be able to make content and to spread it to people as much as possible. That's your goal. You don't have to limit yourself to one site or another. You don't have to sign some corporate contract saying that you can't use the competitor of some website. That's a terrible idea. That's how you snuff yourself out. It's, again, short-term gain, long-term pain. I strongly advise everyone to avoid such maneuvers and to promote themselves and branch out. These sites become more viable when more people are making more exclusive content as well. Every single day, except for the other day, I make Bitchute exclusives. This, I think, long-term will pay off. I think that it helps to build the next wave, really, of the brand that I'm creating and that I thrive on, which is sort of my content creation at large, the video content especially. Bitchute has its own community that is separate in some ways from the mainline internet because of the renegade sort of function that it actually serves. I think it's a great idea. I think everyone should be making Bitchute exclusives. If you're a content creator and you're just, sort of dicking around on YouTube, dude, you're a sitting duck because they're purging everyone anyway on a regular basis. So yeah, I'm going to hit 81,000 subs on the site fairly soon, in the next 48 hours probably. 2.6 million unique users, and again, that's unique users. That's not like total hits or anything like that. That wouldn't be actually, ironically enough, that impressive for a site with that many potential users. But 2.6 million unique users, that's quite a few. Keeping in mind, of course, some of those people, they create accounts, they start making their own content. It's forming a community. It's already bigger than VidMe ever got. VidMe, I think, lasted, what was it? I think it was already 5 years old by the time, at the end, when politics stuff started to be promulgated on the platform, and they went belly up because of poor management, because it was run by a bunch of Redditors. Bitchute does not have this issue. That's about all. Peace out.